to the police cells and to assure him that we are not going to allow him to suffer injustice. That's why we're able to get him out with a mere 1,000 shillings bond. We are determined to make the difference. Don't worry about the culture of handshake. You know, this is very troubling because I can understand you, Onyango, Duncan, when you say an old Maasai man told you we cannot elect Raila or Ruto or Kalonzo. Of course, obviously, I've been Raila's running mate for 10 political years. And I think that's why they associate. So it's a case of guilty by association. But the time has come to stand in solidarity with the Kenyan people so that Kenyans are able to see the real Kalonzo Musyoka, not one who is seen from the lens of Raila or Ruto or Moi or other people. Therefore, I want to assure you that you can trust me. They say that the proof of the pudding is actually in the eating. Now, a few things have been asked about Babayao. I gather you, Bwana Mwangi, famous economist, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you tried to run for Governor Kiambu. Listening to Babayao, because there's a principle also in law, because we cannot really, if we are going to be to imbue in our citizens the ethos about constitutionalism, we must also accept the law of natural justice, which says that no person can be condemned unheard, and everybody is seen to be innocent until they are proven guilty. If you listen to Babayao, he'll tell you actually the reason he was impeached as Governor Kiambu was because he was supporting William Ruto, and the other guys on the other side didn't seem to like that. Now, if there are cases that are pending in court, what I can do, I can assure you, if Babayao is found guilty of corruption, believe you me, he will not find in me a very good colleague. Because then at that point they'll tell him, you know, Babayao, this is the law, this is it. You made the appeal, and therefore, you know, nobody is able to listen to you. But as of now, give him the benefit of the doubt. Let him be able to explain himself to the Kenyan people. Therefore, do not say that if he's seen in a political press conference, then Kalonzo becomes also guilty by association. I want to assure you, my friends, that the time has come to redeem our country, real time. And the real leaders must now stand up, from the Gen Zs to the millennials, to even the older people like Kalonzo Musyoka, who are determined to hand over this country to the younger people as a country we can be proud of. Right now, it's a country in shambles. And we'll be calling out everybody, calling out William Ruto, and calling them out. We will not. You know, one of the criticisms has been, oh, you people in opposition say so much, but you do not offer any solutions. Were we not able to offer a solution when we said no to the Andani takeover of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport? That was a very loud no, and we demonstrated it by going to court. As senior counsel, I want to tell you, I will not hesitate taking positions, even some of the briefs pro bono, like I did, of course, for Kia Mutata and friends there, pro bono, to be able to get the right and the progressive forces coming out to stand and be counted at a very critical time, at such a time as this. We would not want this country to collapse. We will do our best. But of course, I also agree, and I think Raila himself said it, if he did not come to the rescue of William Ruto, we would be having a different situation. But that is for Raila himself to deal with if you're able to catch up with him. So stop there and assure all these colleagues, and I know there are others who are concerned, but to be honest with you, the utterance by Farah Maalim deserves absolute condemnation by all of us who love this country. And even if he wants to support William Ruto up to 2032, that is his business. Let him do so. But let him do so without abusing Kenyans and abusing Kenyan mothers. Kenyan mothers deserve respect. In the days like this, when we have a lot of cases of femicide, for example, we cannot really be stand in silence when we are seeing some derogation of basic people's rights, like the rights of the mothers and Kenyans in general. I hope you're still there, my friend.
We are here, young Mheshimiwa. We are listening.
I'm actually getting worked up.
Okay.
Because,
yes.
And as I said, it's very refreshing to listen to Dr. Duncan Onyango, Dr. Nyakundi. Nyakundi started by saying he wanted only 2 minutes. I think he addressed us for about 10, but that's okay. I learned a lot. But I also want to say one thing.
Yes.
That when I ran for election in 2007, I was the only presidential candidate who declared my wealth. And I'm still very open. I'm very open about these things. But I'm also a professional. I have a law firm called Musyoka Morambi and Associates, all right? And if I earn legal fees, of course, William Ruto overtaxes them, overtaxes everything. I never understood how you can, charge value tax on VAT on professional services. But there we are. So we earn a little money, and we have to educate our children. We have to also make sure we allow families to grow. So it is not that when you become a politician, you should end up a pauper. But I think enough to keep you going, to raise up your family, and to, in a case of somebody like me, to bequeath future generations a country that is under the rule of law, of course, a country that also fears God, and a country that is going to be devoid of these chest thumpers. Chest thumpers. I've never seen this culture of people just chest thumping, and they can call anybody any name, anytime. I want to tell you, I'll be there for the Kenyan people.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you.
I don't know how many minutes do you have, because I want to give ladies now. I see ladies coming on platform. I don't know how many minutes you want to add us before we wind up.
Hillary, can I just ask for 1 or 2 minutes? Just so.
Okay, 15 minutes at the top of the hour. So, Bonnie, as you come in, I ask you a question, then Rose Reseko, then Dolphin, in that order. Bonnie, go ahead.
Bonnie, just keep it to 1 minute, please. Thank you.
We'll do that. Thank you so much for your responses.
I can hear you, Bonnie. Go ahead.
Awesome. So, Mr. Musyoka, the question that I was posing to you have to do with credibility and authenticity. And I asked you why you think Kenyans should trust you when you stand there in a press conference with a known thief of public resources. I have done a serious study on everything that took place when Babaya was governor of Kiambu County. Perhaps you haven't seen it, but I can tell you that if there is ever a poster boy for corruption and everything that's wrong with Kenyan politics, it is Babaya. The last person who deserves a second chance and the benefit of the doubt is Babaya. And I'm puzzled that you will urge Kenyans to look at an individual like that and say, cut him some slack. Wait for our court system to determine that he's a known criminal. I mean, we know that our system of justice doesn't work. An individual like that steals from the most vulnerable in our community, bribes his way through the court system, and is still a viable politician in our country. And people that are asking Kenyans to trust him do not have the ability, the foresight to be able to tell people that should not go anywhere near public resources. That's puzzling to me, and it's surprising to me. And I say that to kind of drive home the reason why I believe that there's a gap between the young people in Kenya and the old guard of Kenyan politics. I'm going to give you a couple of data points, and I'll be very brief about. I see Governor Wavinya Ndeti is here, so I'll give you a couple of data points about Machakos. Again, I'll be very brief. Your county of Kitui has a population of 1.1 million. It's got a 55% poverty rate, 63% literacy rate. It's a poor county. The average citizen there makes about 10,000 2022-2023, it spent 420 million on foreign travel, a total of 517. It gave the MCAs 233 million in cars and another 14 million in allowances. So that county alone, just on a few MCAs, you spend 764 million on them, luxury. And then look at how much money that county spent on education. 200 and actually zero shillings on education and bursaries in the whole county. So you spend 764 million on yourself, you spend nothing on the citizens. Give you a couple of data points about Machakos. 36% poverty.
Can we land, please, and give it on the chat? We only have 15 minutes to do, and we'll appreciate. Thank you.
Understood. Understood. So Machakos spent 747 million between cars for the governor, MCAs, and travel, and then it spent 80 million on education and bursaries for the whole county. That's the problem that we have in our country today, and all these Kenyans around this call understand that issue, and our politicians
and connect with these fellow Kenyans who are passionate about developing a better future for our beloved nation. Honorable Kalonzo, your unwavering dedication to integrity, justice, and unity has been a source of inspiration for many, including myself. Allow me to possess two questions that I believe will highlight your strength and offer clarity on your vision for Kenya. My number one question: you've been a steadfast advocate for peace and national cohesion. How do you plan to leverage your track record of promoting unity to bridge the deep division in our country and foster a truly inclusive Kenya? My number two question is, your commitment to servant leadership is well known. What unique qualities and values do you believe to set you apart as the leader who can steer Kenya towards economic recovery and restore hope for millions of struggling Kenyans? Thank you for your leadership and for engaging with us tonight. We are eager to hear your insight. Sorry, guys, I've got a bit of cold. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rose, for that. And we are quickly covering for that cold. Dolphin, are you here? Yes, we need more ladies also to ask questions. We don't say that this platform is more. We want young people, ladies to come in. Dolphin, go ahead. Dolphin? Oh, Dolphin dropped. Okay, Senator Ken Babu. Abdi, can you hear me? Honorable, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Senator Babu, are you here? All right. I think you have connection issues. Anwar?
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Hillary, Abdi, the Honorable Kalonzo, and the rest of the members here. One of the things that is very important that I think for most of the observers have seen, though we gave ourselves a constitution in 2010, successive governments since then have proven that the president still enjoys immense power, that they have a lot of power over our institutions that are supposed to be acting independent. We see it now with Ruto controlling parliament, controlling the judiciary. And therefore, the character of the person that becomes president is very important. We all agree, I think, that the current government does not represent what we aspire for the Kenyan people. This is not what we want for our nation. We do not want to see cases of abductions. We do not want to see cases of killings, and we do not want to see cases of corruption. So the bottom line is that we want, those of us that really need Kenya to change, agree that the current government needs to go. There will be debates of who and what kind of people need to replace them, but I think that is a debate that I think when we agree that the current government needs to go, we will continue to have. I think my questions that I want to ask the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, the reality of the ground is that Kenyans need a coalition. Government, among politicians, young people, to achieve the immediate goal of ensuring that UDA, the blood-based government, is a one-term government. As a leader, have you begun consultation among your peers and the other people, stakeholders, to ensure that Ruto becomes a one-term government? The other thing, what do you think, in your own personal characteristics, best places you into a position of a good leader? Are you a person that is open to criticism? If you are to be criticized, will you be killing our people if you are to become the president? If you are criticized, you'll be abducting people if you are to become president. How do you think your Christian faith has shaped you to be a leader? Because now we see somebody that is also quoting the Bible but is killing people at the same time. So people are very skeptical about Christians. What is the differentiating factor between your Christian faith and that of Ruto, as we say today? Those are the two questions that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Anwar. Yeah. So I think there was somebody who was dropping Hillary. We can bring Wamai, Justin Wamai. So Justin, the mic is yours. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Hi, Hillary and the team. Mine is a comment. Number one, the problem that bedevils our country is economic democracy. We see ourselves as the national cake to be eaten somewhere, to be cut somewhere. I want us to start thinking that cake is finished. 61 years of independence, we don't have the cake. So we should be thinking about baking it or even cooking ugali. Who said we need the cake? So the conversation that I'm really hoping that this country will start looking at things is, how do we emancipate ourselves economically? Number two, the challenge again we have is that we are all hoping that we are all saying must go, which is fine. But I also want to accept that we need a formidable opposition. If we really need true and, that strong, the change, the transformation we're looking out for, we need a strong opposition that will keep the government in check. Because as it is, if the one we say must go goes and then he ends up being in the position, it's going to disturb everyone. So whatever we are planning for in the future, focus on winning government and having a formidable opposition. Hillary, if you allow me, let me donate my rest of the time to Omondi Koyo. He is really insisting on speaking. Thank you very much and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Justina. Where is Oyo? I don't see him. Maybe you will request a mic. Okay, Mathiora, you've been here for a while. Do you have a question? Then Ronyo. Then we'll give Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. But I think Mheshimiwa, we are sorry that we're gonna take maybe more 10 minutes on top. I will not add anybody on speaker. Mathiora, can you go ahead?
Very important topic. Mine is with regard to the reconstitution of the IEBC, and I want to take Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka back to 2017, where it was their political formation together with Uhuru's that gave us the commission that gave the elections in 2017, which in the first round were annulled. Of course, there went on to be a repeat election, but we know that questions have been raised with regard to the 2017 presidential elections and basically the general elections in totality. Now, in 2022, Kalonzo Musyoka was with Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, and there was this talk about them having this system. So in a way, it was considered that if the elections were going to be rigged, it would be in their favor. There have been other actors in that space, both in 2017 and in 2022, that never kind of got an opportunity to be heard or to be at the table. So even in the constitution of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, their views were not taken into account. Now, at this point, we have ODM in government. We have UDA, we have Wiper. It's a mongrel of a system that's running this country. And then we have this battle with regard to Koki Muli, where people believe that she's being pushed aside because she is principled and has values that are needed to ensure that the selection process of the commission is above board. Now, that may be a lone voice, but then my question is this: is it not naive of us to push for the of an IEBC when in fact evidence points to the reality that that commission eventually will have a very strong axis that is based in Kamagut and Bondo, and us going into an election with that kind of a commission will be like Kenyans taking themselves to the slaughterhouse. Yes, people say we may not have an alternative to the process that's currently going on, but if I was to be bold and courageous enough, I would actually congratulate the Wiper Party and if we allow the big boys to be in charge of this process like they are. You look at the names that were given. Yes, on paper we say there is independence, but eventually
Mudiria, do you want to ask the question? Mudiria, we are running out of time. If you want to make it brief, please make it brief and ask the question. Thanks.
Well, my question to our former vice president is this: is it naive of us to expect that the IEBC that will be born out of the process currently ongoing will deliver free, fair, and credible elections? You are an insider once, and you were pushed aside, and elections were delivered in the manner that they were in 2022. So now that you're on the periphery, should we trust this process and focus on it and not agitate for a different kind of process that would give us a commission that will deliver free, fair, and credible elections in 2027?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dolphin, go ahead. Dolphin? Dolphin, you've been here for a while and I want to hear your voice. Dolphin, before Omondi, you were given, Koyo, you were given a mic. Dolphin, are you here now? All right, Omondi Koyo, go ahead. Then we'll welcome Honorable Kalonzo to chime in. I think, Neto, that is the order.
Yes, I think I agree with you. Thanks.
Okay. Omondi, go ahead. You were given the mic by Honorable Justin Momai. Koyo, are you here?
Hillary, you can hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Very well. First of all, let me say good evening to everyone. And I would wish to pass my message of goodwill to all members under Healthy 2025, Your Excellency, Dr. Kalonzo Musyoka. In Kenya today, the question in the lips of so many Kenyans and in the hearts of many Kenyans is, yes, we agree that we need to change the Kenya Kwanza regime, but they ask themselves, with who? Because the person who Kenyans have been actually seeing as a best option is Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. But when you listen to a number of Kenyans, they do tend to believe that he's not taking this matter seriously. And to me, I think that is a very big failure on his part, which he needs to change on his tactics going forward in 2025. However, I would wish to ask His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka that in Azimio, we are only 23 political parties. We organized ourselves and 16 parties voted for Dr. Augustus Muli against 7 members of Azimio who voted for Dr. Koki Muli. What is this one problem that he has with Dr. Augustus Muli that he can't allow him to serve at the panel so that we can unlock the stalemate and allow the country to move forward? Remember, the Kenya Kwanza regime is taking advantage of the confusion in Azimio to continue derailing the reconstitution of IEBC. How I beseech His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, please let us allow this process to continue, because Dr. Augustus Muli of National Liberal Party is a constituent member of Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Coalition, which yourself you are leading. How I beseech you that please organize us as Azimio so that other Kenyans and other stakeholders can take us seriously as the best option that can remove the. Otherwise, I thank you very much, and I hope there will be goodwill going forward into the future so that these cases in court can be withdrawn. We finish the matter and reconstitute IBC for the benefit of all of us. All of us as the citizens of Kenya. Thank you.
A recommendation. So what can we do so that next time another one, whoever comes to power, does not use this gap in the constitution whereby the constitution does not clearly state that within a specific time we should have an IBC. Can we can maybe Kalonzo Musyoka help us so that we can have the constitution clearly stating what at what at the specific time where the IBC can be. And then another one, the last one, is we have leaders who are threatening people like Farah Maalim and all that. Can Kalonzo also help us so that not only asking them to resign and all that, but can we have them charged because they are also coming for the people, the young people who are speaking against them? Thank you.
There's a question that says, in the light of the CS approach to addressing dissent and criticism on social media, do you believe using threat as a tool to stifle freedom of expression is an effective solution, or do we need to focus on the root cause of public discourse on the government failure? Thank you, and over to you, Honorable Kalonzo. I thought there was Dr. Milton who wanted to chime in for a minute, but I don't see him. But over to you, Hillary, to take it back to Honorable Kalonzo.
Oh, thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. You can chime into those questions. There are so many, and also you can give your final remarks, and I'll give also Honorable Neto to say thank you for coming and honor our request and joining the team today. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. You can chime into those questions. There are so many.
Yeah. Oh, where are we? Okay, it's open. Okay. Are you there?
Yes, Mheshimiwa, we can hear you. You're well.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank all the contributors and very useful comments. Generally, very concerned about our country and where we are. Boni, you gave us quite a bit of a lecture, Dr. Boni Mwangi, very competent economist, giving us very, very good statistics about my own home county of Kitui. I cannot, of course, agree with you. I do agree with you absolutely that something needs to be done about foreign travels by MCAs and people. It may not be clear to the majority of Kenyans that before the close of every financial year, everything is done to get members of parliament out to Dubai and to other places, MCAs everywhere. Some go for benchmarking in places like Singapore and other places. Complete wastage of public resources. Therefore, I cannot agree with you more, Panaboni. And you say that Governor Vinya is actually online herself. But of course, I don't agree when you said there's zero on education and bursaries for Kitui County. I wish Governor Malombe was able to be. We'll bring this out, this fact to him. I cannot see how there can be zero allocation for education and bursaries in Kitui, and this 80 million for Machakos. I really would want to engage with you, Bwanaboni Mwangi, when you're home. I don't know whether you're home, because I admire your knowledge of economics. Rose Seko, I thank the wonderful comments on what yours truly has been able to do in terms of working for peace, not just in our country, but in our region. And therefore, I want to give you my commitment that the biggest challenge we have is to work for national cohesion. You know, there's a constitutional commission, which is called, what is it, NCIC, Commission on National Commission on something led by Dr. Kobia. I wish they could just swing into action and institute prosecutions. You know, the only commission I find which is working to the benefit of Kenyans is the Kenya National Human Rights Commission. Because I'm with them in court, they are there, they are trying to educate our people on their rights. They are non-derogable. And so I find that some of these constitutions, that's why I started by saying, for me, I have respect for him. He's our current president, and we are all going to have to work hard. I hope he. I saw that somebody like Sudi joined this conversation. I wish he can go and tell his boss what Kenyans are actually saying. Senator Ken Babu, I missed out on your submission. There's some interruption, but we have to work very hard on building a proper coalition that is going to work towards a complete liberation. In fact, I'm calling it Komboa Kenya. Of course, this is a time really to all of us put aside whatever differences and be able to get our country back. So we'll work together. We'll work together. As I told you, we are working very hard. Even I gather they are trying to now impeach Governor Natembea because of telling William Ruto the truth at the funeral in Bungoma. And if they try to do that, we will stand as usual with Governor Natembea and tell people the truth. That absolutely nothing but the truth. But Muthiora, I really admire your thinking about the challenge we are all facing in reconstituting the IEBC. Even before we come to interviewing commissioners, um, you begin to see it. You see through it all, the manipulation, the need to capture every commission and the monies that I know they are willing to spend to buy even the 9 commissioners. Unfortunately, we did recommend an ANADCO that William Ruto and Raila Odinga will be able to consult. I think that in the light of what Raila is now doing, I think we should now change it and say we have to be there so that it's not left to William Ruto to appoint the commissioners and the chair of the commission and that kind of thing. During those discussions, Kenyans had various approaches on how to end up with a credible um, IEBC. If you look at the example of a country like Ghana, which has gone through a reasonably good election, and I saw Sudi arguing that no country in the world has there been a president who has been elected only one term. I think he doesn't know there's a country called Botswana, which had a one-term president, and we even in the U.S. itself, and what has been happening in the region is amazing. It looks like the trend in Africa is for one term, so that Africans can get their countries back. Therefore, we'll not allow a situation, as Muthiora is saying, where you go to Kamagut, decisions are made in Bondo and Kamagut. Of course, it will not happen. It will not happen. Kenyans have now discovered that, as somebody earlier on said, sovereignty of the people under the Constitution. And that is why they took it in my view is, since the 25th of June last year, we really do not have a proper parliament in place. The one which is there was impeached by the Kenyan people. And so we will remain focused in ensuring that nobody is going to end up with a Ruto-friendly IEBC. It should be a Kenyan-friendly IEBC. And so we will work very hard in that direction. Bwana Koyo, Secretary General of Augustine Muli's party. And please, when you tell him not to associate openly with Ruto and then pretend he's actually with us in Azimio, because that is one of the problems. You know, it doesn't even have the ability to camouflage his movements. How are we going to trust him if he is there castigating other leaders, including yours truly, and spewing all manner of vitriol. However, the matter is coming up, as I said earlier on the 21st of this month. And if the courts find in favor of Augustin Muli, I have no problem with him. He will go on to represent Ruto because he cannot represent us. It is clear he's biased in favor. In fact, the other day he called a meeting of his clan, and Kambas are not very well known to believe so much in clanism. But he declared as a clan, he declared himself and actually said they are there to work with William Ruto. So how can I trust Banakoyo, our good friend Augustus Muli, to be the voice for Azimio la Umoja in Kenya? By the way, before I forget, somebody tried to suggest that I said Azimio is actually in place. I think that friend did not hear me correctly. I said Kenyans have lost faith in Azimio because some of them, some Azimio leaders, I said it very clearly, Kenyans are actually fed up with the name Azimio. This is why we have to reconfigure the whole situation. We'll give opportunity to ODM to tell us whether they want to work with us or to work with William Ruto. It will be their constitutional right. But the rest of us are determined to work to, in a very democratic manner, remove William Ruto from office. Now, when CS Murkomen attacks Kenyans on social media, threatens them, and I think even William Ruto is threatening them even today, you know, the world has changed. The world is now full of artificial intelligence and other things. Sorry, Bwana Murkomen. This is not the country that you imagined it would be. Kenyans have come of age. And in fact, of accolades, because we do lead in this. Imagine, for example, when it came to the time to nominate the most corrupt leader in the world. A lot of Kenyans went online. Maybe this is what is making them very upset. But they should have also have asked others to nominate other people. But to earn the reputation that the country's leader is ranked now, I think is must be the reigning champion because Bashar Assad has been thrown out. All right. So to really have, it's very bad for economics. For our economy, it's bad for our image, and we cannot therefore continue to languish under this kind of leadership. Social media, I see, in fact, Meta, the leadership of Meta Group, just like Elon Musk's X, have actually removed censorship. He said everybody has the freedom of expression, provided you don't take a panga and kill your fellow citizen. But Kenyans must develop the culture of taking criticism, particularly Kenyan leaders. Therefore, it will not help to abuse the young people, to threaten them, intimidate them. Intimidation, the era of intimidation in Kenya is long gone, and we will stand with our people to the very end. I thank you so much, Pana Hilary.
Uh, Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for coming and for honoring our request to join us in this conversation. And I want to assure you this is just a beginning of the conversation on the state of the nation. And I believe that when we call again, and we call even the old leaders that you're planning to lead the country with, then you'll come and again tell us what you want to do and how we want to look at differently with the leaders who are there. Mm-hmm. And we really appreciate your time all the time. And to honor to come today, there's a blessing to the country and to even the people who can hear you and your mission and your vision and the things that you're planning to do as a leader, as somebody who has been there for a while. I want to welcome Neto to give his final remarks. Then I know you're going to leave. We will not close the space now, but you're going to give people maybe more 20 minutes to ask more questions. Then I'll forward this question to you so that next time you can address them in another platform. Otherwise, yeah. Neto.
Before you go to Neto, let me give here Milton 1 minute and then we go to Neto. Dr. Milton, go ahead before I give it to Neto for 1 minute.
Okay, mine is to say one. I love Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka's pragmatism and how he's honest about things. I think when the time is right now, the urgent business the country needs to focus on, and as critics of any administration that works against the people. We are looking forward to the urgent business of removing this government and every body that is associated with it. Secondly, Honorable Kalonzo, I hope when the time comes, we will hold proper auditioning for those who want to take over the leadership of the country so that we have the right people. And I do believe that you will rank highly at the top when the Kenyans look for those leaders. And lastly is to request and seek your indulgence that you join with the rest of the Gen Zs and Gen Zote in this case in ensuring that we are engaging and coalescing so that we can be able to hold this regime accountable and take it home. I look forward to engaging with you and like-minded Kenyans on the urgent business that we have, which is to ensure that William Ruto and the entire cartel of Kenya Kwisha are home and they are held accountable for the theft of public resources so that the Kenyan people can enjoy the fruits and the benefits of their democratic ideals and the constitution they have endowed themselves with. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ndugu Neto.
And Neto, when you're coming in, Tabitha, I want to say hi to Honorable Kalonzo, then Neto come in. Tabitha, can you say hi to Honorable Neto, Honorable Kalonzo?
Tabitha.
Yes, Honorable Kalonzo.
Yes, ma'am.
It's such a privilege that you actually honored an invite in a space like this at such a time. And it's really good that we have leaders who are taking their time to have a conversation that actually many Kenyans are so interested in. We are discussing the state of our country and the way forward for the young people who seem to be very hopeless. But then, Honorable Kalonzo, we just expect that you really, be that leader that is very consistent in what he says, lives up to it, and also shows up in areas where really the support for change and real change in governance is required. If we can move this conversation from just X to now practicality, even in supporting the movements that are Gen Zs, even calling out what is not really happening well in a more intentional way. We think that with leaders like you and like-minded Kenyans, we are on a trajectory that is very positive, and we are looking forward to a Kenya really that is governed by principles of the Constitution, that is governed by consideration of the people who are the most sovereign. And we are looking forward to a Kenya where the young people are free to speak, because we form the majority of this population. We are the majority of voters, and our voices cannot be shut by people who feel that being criticized is a way of bringing them down or whatever. So we would like you to support the young people. We would like you to show up for them, with them, and most importantly, it's not even about the young people. We want you as a leader to show up for Kenya. The old, the young is looking up to that one leader who can stand without fear or favor and say that this is wrong, this ought to be done like this. And we really want a Kenya that works, where youth meant, where we feel that we have the capacity to even create self-employment for ourselves, where businesses are working, and the policy around that force the young people to serve at the end of the day. So please give
Thank you.
leaders whom will be willing really to take this country forward, not just leaders who are opportunists, leaders who are just driving the agenda of tribe. Is where we are just speaking about our tribal lines, and what, let your alignment be the alignment which represent the full face of Kenya, the full face of what you'll require as change and transformational justice for this country. Thank you, Honorable Kalonzo.
Thank you so much, Tabitha.
Thank you, Tabitha. As I hand over to Honorable Neto, I want also to express my deepest gratitude to Honorable Kalonzo for joining us. and sharing his invaluable insights. I think your commitment to dialogue, to democracy and justice continue to inspire and guide many in this critical time of our nation. I think your leadership reminds us of the power of unity, accountability, standing firm in the face of adversity. We are honored to have you here with us this evening. Thank you for your time, for your wisdom, your unwavering dedication to Kenya's future. We look forward working together towards a stronger and more just Kenya. Safe and let's push. Let's push these changes and have a better Kenya for all. I would say let's follow each other. Let's keep this conversation going. Over to you, Honorable Neto.
Thank you very much, Abdi. And thank you very much, Hillary, for giving me the chance to thank the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. Mr. President, thank you very much for honoring us with your presence and for taking time off to engage with Kenyans. The first time I saw a President Kalonzo Musyoka poster was in 1997, I think, around Mwingi. It's 30 years later, 2027, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. Maybe it's just time that this presidency became a reality. But someone said something that I'd like to point out to you. You know, privately, myself and yourself and some other friends have sat with you to discuss your presidency. This was 10 years ago. But someone has said something that I want to just highlight right now. I think it was the Secretary General of this Muli party. That, you know, you're not taking the matter very seriously, the matter of your presidency. I mean, I'm hoping that in 2027, you can actually take this matter of your presidency a little bit more seriously to take us to the next level. I mean, I say that with a heavy heart because even if you watch the Wiper Party campaigns, you know, if you're not doing Okambani and you're not doing parts of Coast Province, you know, you're doing it stomach. So I really look forward to, you know, the Wiper Party putting up a spirited campaign in this particular year or 2027 moving forward. That is the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing I'd like to say is that the next frontier in Kenyan leadership is going to be fought on the basis of rule of law, constitutionalism, budgeted corruption, and that is going to be what is going to make the campaign tick. You know, people are voting out this Kenya Kwanza government because they're thieves, they're corrupt. So our critique or the questioning about some of the counties that Wiper is predominant in is a question, is an invitation that, you know, the Wiper Party can then engage in introspection. You do not have to engage in self-defense right now. It's about engaging in introspection to the extent that, you know, look, if Kenyans do not want corruption, Kenyans want us to engage in rule of law, how can the Wiper Party, for example, be the one that then leads this particular thing? The third and the last thing I'd like to say, for me, is to wish you the very best. You know, personally, where I stand with you in terms of your presidency and your presidential quest. We wish you the very best. We just would like you to not associate. You remember in one of these campaigns, I think it was in 2013, when your party, was it my party at that time as well? You know, you cannot campaign on the basis of no corruption when everyone else is around you. Remember that particular presidential campaign of Raila Odinga that we were talking about zero corruption, and everyone else was around the president at that time was people with a dark past. That's what Kenyans are asking you of. Kenyans are asking you to shave off this, give us the presidency that you will be a clean presidency. And I'm sure if you did that, you'll just be surprised that 30 years later, you might actually be the president. My very best. Thank you very much for honoring us with your presence. God bless you. And my very best with the presidency. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Honorable Neto, Abdi, Justin Omai, Boni, Dr. Milton, Joe Wangeshi, Rose, Honorable Kalonzo himself, Tabitha Ugutu, that is also upcoming Genz leaders that we know that's coming up strongly. We really appreciate your presence, Ronyo, Africa, and everybody else who are on this meeting today. We will be hosting all these leaders all the time, and they will be telling us what they want to do and what's their perspective of leading. But we're really humbled to for their honor to come and to converse with us. It's not easy. They take their time and to be with us. And those people we didn't get mic today, we really, really appreciate your presence. Then we still have so many requests, but you want to close the space. And thank you so much for joining. And may God bless you and see you again on Sunday. As usual, Pressure Point is alive. Let us see you on Sunday from 7 p.m. Kenya time. To at this moment. May God bless you wherever you are. Let us pray for each other. Let us know